Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
2714 4.5 by 4.5 bearings, hinges, and I don't know the dimension, the gap I should leave between the door jamb and the door. I'm trying to cut my door, and I don't know what that should be.
Okay, so you've got a Mckinney, full mortise hinge, a TA2714. That's going to have their lube bearing or whatever they call it, their concealed sort of high-tech plastic, which is a really great design of frictionless sort of hinge construction. The term is called backset. Now, the backset, the part on the door, you asked me about the frame, but the part on the door that you wouldn't mortise would be 1/4 inch. So if you take 1/4 inch and then you add the distance from the face of the door to the face of your stop, if that's where you're measuring from, which is probably 3/32, 80 thousandths, 90 thousandths, something like that, that would be the answer that you're looking for.
So 3/32 is what I should account for.
Well,
because of that cylinder.
Plus your backset.
My backset. What does that mean? Because I'm insetting it into the door and to the door jamb.
Of course. So as you mortise the door, if your door is 1 3/4 thick, the width of your hinge pocket is going to be 1.5 inches because 1/4 inch of the door will not be mortised. And that unmortised portion is called if we measured that, it would be called the backset. The push side of the door to where the hinge prep starts.
But I'm making it flush with that door, so wouldn't it be a
Why are you cutting the hinge all the way through the door?
Well, I'm not. I guess what? So you need to account for that in order for the door to close, is what you're saying?
No, I didn't say those words. No, I mean you could mortise the hinge all the way through the door if I understand correctly, but there would be best practice or industry standard practice would be to leave a backset. Yes,
I will do that. But so what I need to understand, okay, so that it's 4.5 by 4.5. My door is only like 2 inches, so I guess it doesn't matter. But
it does matter. The door thickness has everything to do with it.
Yeah. So that's going to go. How would that
you might increase your backset to. You might increase your backset to 3/8. And one could argue that a 5-inch wide hinge would have been a good option as well. The width of the hinge is going to be directly related to where you want that vertical axis of pivoting to fall in relationship to the face of the door. So, if you want to go to 180 degree, do you need to have that vertical axis of pivoting pulled off the face of the door to clear any trim, any wall condition, a great inset of the door as well.
Yeah, it's going into a sanctuary, so we want it to swing not fully, but because we'll have a pole on there stopping it. So we want it to be able to swing at least, not too much, but 45 out maybe.
Or probably, 45 past 90.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay, sure.
So
yeah, you're going to have to do the math and figure out what your backset is so that your vertical axis of pivoting, the center line of the hinge barrel, will allow you to achieve the sort of degree of opening that you want.
Yeah, but when I'm closed, right, you're saying if I have my door just right up against the door jamb for that thing, that hinge, because it's not, there's a gap because of the cylinder, and I'm not an expert in this, sorry if I'm being dumb, but there's a gap because of the cylinder diameter. So you're saying it's 3/32, but you're also adding the backset, which I don't get that right now.
So you said originally that you needed to know where to locate the hinge, and you referenced it to the face of the stop.
Yeah, I don't need to know where to locate the hinge. I just need to know the gap between the door and the door jamb that I need to account for, because I'm going to cut my wood. I have 2 double doors, and so I need the middle. What's that gap, and then what's the gap from the door to the door jamb? So that
Are you asking about the amount of space between the edge of the door and the jamb, and the
yes.
the space between the 2 doors in a meeting style?
Yes.
Okay, this is completely unrelated to a hinge question. 1/8 of an inch would be the answer. I mean, that would be typical. Okay. You could have it a 30-second less, but are these fire-rated doors?
No, they're just wooden doors.
Okay. An 1/8 of an inch would be industry standard between the 2 doors, and then assuming they are beveled, and then between the edge of the door and the jamb.
Correct. Okay. Now, my door thickness is 2 inches. Is that an issue for this bearing though? Because it seems 4.5 by 4.5. There's no way that's going to fit on there.
I just don't understand the question.
The door thickness is 2 inches.
Yeah.
And
your hinge is 2 1/4 when it's folded closed.
Okay, but it says 4.5 by 4.5. What is? I'm assuming that's the width, and that width 4.5. I'm going to have 2.5 inches more sticking out of my door. So.
No, not at all. So the width of the hinge is the 4.5 laid open.
Okay.
So
that's gross.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good size for a 2-inch door, a 2 1/4 inch door. It's 5-inch may have worked as well. It depends on that clearance issue we talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it looks like if I have a 4.5 divided by 2, that's 2 2/4, which is still wider than my door.
But you realize that 3/4 of the hinge leaf is going to hang off the face of the door.
Yes, so I don't want to do that, I would think.
I hear what you're saying. I would suggest that you stroll through the rest of the building and study other installed examples of how a hinge looks when it's installed. You'll have, let's say, 1.5 inches of the door mortised. When you fold that hinge closed, it's going to be 2 1/4 wide from the edge of the leaf to the center of the barrel.
Yeah.
So just let's say it's 2.5 inch overall. An 1.5 inches of that's going to be consumed by the door thickness itself. And you're going to stand proud of the door because you need the vertical axis of pivoting kicked off the face of the door so the door can actually swing to 135 degrees, possibly.
Gotcha. So I get you. Now, do you have these hinges in stock?
Yeah, of course.
And do you have them in black by chance?
Black is the new fancy color. TA2714, 4.5, 4.5, 4. Four and a half in a. They are not listed in stock in black. I would have them in stock by other manufacturers, and they would be, for all intents purposes, an identical hinge.
Mm-hmm. And that's fine with me. If you have it, do you have it in Houston?
No, sir. I'd have to ship them out of California.
Okay. What's the soonest I could get it, roughly?
Roughly soonest, if you ordered it shortly, in the next hour, I would say that you would see the material on Thursday if you overnighted them. Otherwise, I would think ground shipping would be every bit of 2 days from California, maybe 3.
And those are black, or just those are black hinges and a different brand?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you sell what the door pushes, Norton door pusher closers?
Yes.
Okay. I'm thinking I need a Norton 8500. But I don't know. I'd rather have an 8300 if you have those.
In black, that's going to be a made-to-order finish in black.
Yeah.
So
What
you
about
can order
in,
either cover. That the only difference on that is the cover, right?
Yes.
Won't be a problem.
What about the do you have it in a primed coat?
No, you'd have to get aluminum and then sand it and prime it and then paint it black.
Yeah. But you don't have it in black. Okay. Okay. Let me talk to my boss and I'll get back to you shortly.
My name is Richard. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program.